to recognize and bring before you someone who is living out the experience that we are going to simulate over the next 3 days. Someone who has taken upon himself the mantle of leadership and has chosen to serve our Commonwealth as a representative. Ladies and gentlemen, State Representative Chris Harris is a practicing attorney who represents the Belfry area in Pike County. He was elected state representative for the 93rd District, which is both Pike and Martin counties, in 2014. He's a graduate of the University of Kentucky. And then he went to law school at Northern Kentucky University. He's a former prosecutor. He's been a board member of the National Association of Counties, but most importantly, he's here to talk about his journey, about what inspired him to serve. When he sat in these seats in a program very similar to this one in West Virginia, something sparked him. And he's here to tell you about that. So ladies and gentlemen, can I give a giant round of applause for Chris Harris?
All you adults wanted to do that, I know you did. Well, let me first say what an honor it is to be here. It's a great honor to be with you today. It's truly inspiring to see so many young people interested in the world around them today, engaging in roles that demonstrate just how our government works and interacts with its citizens. Today, each one of you have passed the first test of every good leader. You showed up. And that's important. So much of life is doing just that, showing up. Dusting yourself off every day, no matter the trials or tribulations of the day before, and preparing yourself to go at it all over again. Through your participation in KYA, you've committed your time and energy and signaled your willingness to go that extra mile. And that's something to be proud of. You've studied the material, you know your roles, and you're on your mark. You know how to proceed according to the responsibilities that each one of you have already accepted. Your school, your community, your commonwealth, and your country need your continued commitment to participation even after this conference is over. We need your energy and your enthusiasm. We need your ideas and dedication. We need your hard work. We need especially for you to imagine those individuals in your lives, whether it be a parent, a teacher, a preacher, a coach, or a community leader that have inspired you to succeed. You need to remember those people. What is it about that individual or those individuals that speaks to you? What makes them stand out? How can you model and use those same virtues on your own? Think about that. Was it their honesty? Was it their tenacity? Willingness to keep going? Was it their dedication to other people? Were they dependable or respectful of others in need? Could they build bridges between opposing sides, opposing viewpoints? Did they treasure their faith and live their lives with integrity? Were they kind or caring? Did they seek to create a better world around them? Chances are, whatever individuals have come to your mind over the last few seconds, a mix of these qualities is what you will need to succeed. For me, I was inspired to run for office by my grandfather. He served in the House of Representatives in West Virginia. He was a man of unflinching character and, quite frankly, a bit of a character himself. He was driven, outspoken, but quite endearing and in fact, loving. He encouraged us to always do our very best at whatever it was that we tried to do. There was 5 grandkids. So through his leadership, our family came to understand that serving our community was a way of life, something that we all needed to do. Early on, I became interested in politics, and I discovered quickly how much I enjoyed serving the public, serving other people. And while my granddad was a great inspiration to me, I first ran for political office because, of all things, I was embarrassed by the person that was representing me. I listened, I engaged, and I heard what my representative was saying, and that didn't hold true. He didn't hold the same values that I held. So I decided at that time that I would get involved in politics at the local level. I didn't want that guy representing me or my interests. So I ran for county magistrate in Pike County. And I tell this to people all the time, I'm from Pike County. We're the farthest eastern county in the state. I don't live in the last house in Kentucky, but real close. And so I served on the Pike County Fiscal Court as a magistrate for 12 years. And the same scenario presented itself on the state level. While I enjoyed serving at the local level, I thought I could do more at the state level. I wanted to better represent the interests of my region, Pike and Martin counties. So I ran for higher office, and I won. I'm now nearing the end of my first year as a state representative. And while there's still a lot to learn, it's hard work. It's been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. Now I know a lot of people in this room are probably turned off by politics. When you think of politics, sometimes you think of politicians and promises and government that seem less than responsive, or special interest groups and the wrangling that seems to come out of Washington and Frankfurt during legislative talks. You think of regulators and taxes and wonder if they don't spend enough time already on filling out government-required forms or complying with government rules. Well, there's some truth in all those perceptions, but that's not the whole truth. That's not the real story. The real story is simply this: our founders of the most successful and progressive country in the history of the world devised a system of government under which the people themselves, us, you and me, through our elected representatives, make the decisions and run our own government. That may not always be efficient. Democracy tends to appear sometimes even chaotic. But that's simply because we take the time to listen to all views and expressions and the accounts of them. And the amazing thing is, it actually works. Out of the chaos, out of all the conflicting voices and views, a consensus emerges, and we govern ourselves. It's a little amazing how well we've actually done so far, but it's a constant struggle, and that's where you come in. Democracy only works if you work, and that means being involved. Political involvement. And when I say that, I'm really talking about two things. One is an awareness of and participation in the process of voting. It's also becoming directly involved by studying the issues that are affecting you, by contacting your legislators or your congressmen, by telephone, by mail, or in person, going to their office, sharing your views, and even attending a legislative meeting to let them know how you feel about a certain issue. You would be surprised how important that is. Political involvement is serious business. It affects you, it affects me, and it affects every Kentuckian who cares about good government in the American way of life. You may have read the low voter turnout results in Kentucky in the recent election. We can do better, and we have to do better. It's cliche to say that if you don't vote, you don't have a right to complain. We hear that all the time. It's also cliche to say that every vote counts, and that the right to vote is our most precious political heritage. But like so many cliches, there's some truth. It's a heavy responsibility, but the very survival of our system in our way of life depends on a knowledgeable electorate, one that votes, and knowledgeable candidates that run for office. As Americans, we have to accept this responsibility. And though you may be a few years away from being able to cast your own first votes, organizations like KYA are so important to teaching the value of the democratic process. In your own way, you are helping to inform the public on issues that actually matter. You're playing a crucial role in nudging your fellow students towards eventually accepting that very responsibility. For your role in helping make a democracy work, you're to be commended. Your dedication to service, even at this age, to both being informed and helping inform others, serves as an example to all of us. Quite frankly, it makes me feel a whole lot better about the future to look out into this audience and see so many young and smiling faces with enthusiasm about the political process. It's not an easy one, but I can tell you already that each one of you are up to this challenge. The challenge is much bigger than you, and it's bigger than me. It's about ensuring the blessings of our liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. And remember, great leaders don't tell you what to do. Great leaders show you how it's done. Through your involvement in KYA, you're already well on your way. And for that, I'm very proud of each of you. I'm looking forward to what's ahead for all of you, and I thank you again for the opportunity to be with you today. You're an inspiration to me, and I wish you all the very best and hope you have a great conference. Thank you.